All right. Well, it's right about 11, so I guess we can get started today. Yeah. We'll let Laura hold on one second. We'll let her give her little disclaimer here. Here you go.
Okay, good morning and welcome everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have and need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorneys, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solutions or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know. Okay.
Thank you. Okay, does anybody have anything they want to sell? I guess we can start off there. Has anybody got anything for sale? No, nobody's got anything for sale. I think everybody should have something for sale. No. How about anything to buy? Is anybody looking to buy anything today? Nobody's looking to buy anything. I know Carrie's probably got some money for people that want to buy some stuff.
Absolutely.
Carrie, you want to say anything today?
Sure, I will talk. I'm Carrie. I'm with New Frontier Bank in St. Charles, and we have 2 locations here. And it's just, I love coming on this forum and meeting all of you guys and to offer my services. Rates are going up. It's time to get pre-approved or refi before December's Fed meeting. Rates right now are sitting somewhere around 6.75, 6.90, depending on the balloon term. So, you're seeing the Feds raise it, in upwards of 8% is what I'm hearing. So I'd love to work with you. If I can help in any way, I'll put my contact information down. I'll let you know what it is, though. It's I'm Carrie Curley with New Frontier Bank. My number is 636-940-8740, extension 9121, or my cell number is 314-220-4227. Let me know. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Carrie. Now, are the banks open today?
Yes.
Or is it just you? I know you're always on call, kind of.
Yeah, no, it's a federal day, so we don't have a federal holiday like a lot of people get off the next day after Thanksgiving. So institutions everywhere are away, they're available and they're working. So if you need anything on this Black Friday, don't hesitate to stop on by.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So I guess the mail will be running today too, probably then, if it's not a federal holiday. So
yes,
I can't keep up with them anymore because I don't, every day's a work day, but every day's a holiday, as far as I'm concerned.
Good for you.
Yeah, it's great.
Carrie, could I ask you a question? Do you buy or can you purchase a loan from you, but also get a construction loan?
We do construction loans.
You do.
We do construction loans. It's a service, obviously, that we offer. It goes through a title company. They're the ones that disperse everything, but we do finance those. So yes, okay. Yes, thank you.
And do you finance 100% of construction loans with?
Typically, what we do is our loan to value typically stays around 80%, depending on what the project is. If you're building, from ground up, it could be different depending upon, the collateral and that type of thing. But each one, obviously we look at each one on its own merit. That's what I love about New Frontier Bank is that we are, a community bank that, our loans, decisions, everything is made here. And, we really try to find a way to help our community. So yeah, I would take a look at pretty much anything. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I do want to say that I am a firm believer in local banks and some that aren't quite so big. I've had loans with both of them. I still do, but the local banks are always somebody that, it's always good to have somebody on your team that really knows you. And, I don't quite get that out of some of my other ones with the bigger banks, because I know we can pick up the phone and call somebody like Carrie, and she'll know you and can actually deal with your situation, just like Gene asking that question. I mean, you couldn't necessarily call up Bank of America and talk to anybody necessarily. First of all, you'd have to figure out the code to press the button, I think, if you could figure that out. So, but it's always good to deal with somebody locally. In fact, building your team is huge. I know, one of the things I learned early on was building my team, which I didn't really realize I was doing at the time, is you want to work with people that understand the investor mindset, because that's a whole different world than it is just a typical professional mindset, is what I call it anyway, because they just, people that understand investors think a little bit differently. And that's really, really important when you go to do that. Somebody had their hand raised there. Do I see, no, I see a hand on there. It's gone now. Okay.
That was probably me, John. I was just clapping in agreement.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with all these emojis things. I'm still learning. How are you today, Amber?
Doing well. Happy post-Thanksgiving.
Yeah, thank you. Do you still have your property that you had a one for sale? Do you still have that for sale, or is that one sold now, Amber?
It is not sold yet. It's contingent. So I do have an offer on the table. I need to review. So yes, it is contingent. But if someone is interested, before I accept it, the current offer, I guess I'll put it out there as well. I have a single family home in the 63115 area code. It has been gutted in the inside. It is a 1 bedroom, 1 bath, or it was a 1 bedroom, 1 bath. I purchased it because there's a sunroom in the back, and this property is big enough. It's actually quite large in the front, or in the space, to be a 2 bedroom, 1 bath. And then there's a basement, completely dry basement. But it doesn't appear to be a very large project, but it is not for the, I would say, for the beginner. So if you are interested in a project, give me a ring. I will give you my email address, it's A Gray, Gray, property, LLC @gmail.com.
Okay. At Gmail. Okay. And that was 63115, you said, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Excellent. Good project for somebody. I know Amber didn't, it wasn't a huge asking price that she had. So that's a really good project for somebody. And you may even talk to Carrie about getting some financing on something like that. So maybe you might have everything you need right here to get a great project going.
Yep. Thank you for that, John. I did forget it. So I am asking $10,000 for this property.
Okay. So that's a good price. So even, if you're brand new, this is something that's not going to completely break the bank and kill you. This is something that you can get in there and make some money on. Because this is, I'll tell you, these are the kind of projects I like myself, because this is something you could buy, put some money into, and then actually finance it to somebody else, and you could become your own bank on a deal like this. In fact, you may even want to do that on somebody, partner with them on somebody that wants to, fix it up, and maybe even as a contractor. I've done lots of deals like that over the years, where you bring somebody else in that maybe has the expertise on doing the gut rehab, and maybe you're just the finance person, or the brain, the brains behind the madness, I like to call it sometimes, and just put the whole deal together and let them do the part that they're good at. And then you construct the deal and make the money on the back end of that. So, I mean, there's just a lot of possibilities and a lot of potential with these kind of deals. And I love the ones that are not, just a strict go buy them and put 20% down. I love these kind of deals you put together, and you can make a lot of wins out of that too, because you can get your partner, who may be a construction type person, to come in and do the deal, but they may not know how to construct it, where you'll come in and you get an end buyer who wants to come in and maybe be the homeowner and somebody that lives in it. So you can do the financing and still own it long term, as opposed to maybe being a landlord in a renter situation. You could actually have a homeowner on a deal like that can get into something that they didn't know they could buy the home for, maybe only spending $800 a month or whatever your final price is after you put it together. So there's just a lot of possibilities on something like that. A lot of exit strategies.
Great point, John. And just one thing that we always mention, know your exit strategy right before getting in. So if you have everything John just mentioned, if you're interested, then please reach out, and then we can kind of go from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the exit strategies, Amber, is very important. And that's something I haven't always thought about. And I know a lot of new investors don't. They just kind of think, well, I can get this for a good deal, but then what are you going to do with it? And it's not always to rent it out, and it's not always to turn around and sell it, because the market changes, as it has been in the last couple of months. And in fact, I've seen a lot of new people that are, the wholesalers and things. They come in, and it doesn't always stay as a wholesale market, because right now you might have gotten a contract at one price, but you might not be able to sell it that quickly like you did. And when you rehab it, it's the same way sometimes, is things change. I know a lot of people in some of these other groups I'm in out in, in particular in Florida and in California, they got into, and it's usually the price points seem to be like the 700 to maybe 1.2 to 1.4 million dollar ones, because of the interest rates, like Carrie was just talking about, being a little bit different than they were a few months ago. That changes your buyers dramatically. So the market changes, and you might get stuck with a property. There's people right now I know losing $100,000 on properties that could have been making $200,000 just back in the summertime. So that's how quick things change, and especially with the rates, and who knows where they're going to go. I know Carrie will hopefully keep us informed every week, but maybe they've been going up. So I mean, we don't have necessarily crystal balls on stuff, but and we don't always want to react, but we got to think ahead of time a little bit about what's going on. But I know with the deal like what Amber has right here, like what we're talking about, that's something, regardless of what rates are and regardless of what's going on, those are the kind of deals that are always going to be great deals, because you can always do something with them and have more than one exit strategy.
Hey, John, if I can pull on that thread a little bit, Carrie, what type of investors, or I guess it would be investors, are you seeing coming forth with the current atmosphere that we're in? Are you seeing like larger investors, or still the smaller ones trying to get in, just get their foot in the door? Just curious.
Well, yeah, sure. I see right now what I'm seeing mainly are people trying to extend their amateurs, or before their balloon, like they'll refi early so that they can grab this rate as opposed to the rates that are coming. It's a little bit, it's a mixture of both. I mean, the big stuff comes in, and obviously the smaller stuff, not necessarily people getting into the business right now. I haven't seen that, but I'm sure it's out there. It's just like John said, the rates right now are crazy. Housing rates is 6.58% today, which it's kind of dropping. So that's kind of what banks go by on stuff like that. Prime, obviously 7, and the Fed's meet in December, and they just keep saying, I've heard things like, rates are going to go down next year. But then again, construction's going to go down, and a lot of other things are going to be kind of impacted by the rates. A lot of people, are walking away from contracts that they've put on, new construction because of the rates, what the rate was then versus what the rate is now. So they're just walking away and leaving their earnest money. So I don't know what's going to happen. It's a peaks and valleys. It is definitely a bell curve. What comes around goes around. We've seen this before, and I honestly don't think, and I don't know if I've said this before, but I don't think there's going to be a lot of foreclosures. I could be wrong due to the interest rate. One, people with a 3.25% interest rate, when it was prime was back, back there when they were purchasing their homes, they more than likely set in a fixed rate at that, as opposed to doing an adjustable rate. So I'm not seeing, I don't think, it's going to go up to where it's going to, make their payments so high that they can't afford it. I would hope not. Like I said, when rates were so low, people should have locked in and they should have gotten, a rate. And that's more of on the residential mortgage type thing. So, but yeah, we see all kinds. It's not a pattern yet. I haven't seen a pattern. I think people are a little bit nervous right now in terms of real estate. The prices are coming back down. People overpaid in the summer and prior to that. It's not worth what they paid for. I saw that. People would, not go by an appraisal, get an appraisal rider because they knew they were going to pay $35,000, $40,000, $45,000, $50,000 more than the asking price. So it's just kind of a weird climate right now. So, it's just, we're going to have to wait and see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
A lot of foreclosures coming. I've thought that myself, and I still hear people out there talking about, oh yeah, we're going to have all these foreclosures coming. But you made such a good point right there about people, with the like appraisal writers and stuff, because they have been overpaying. But what I see is because of the rates and some of that, you may lose on paper what looked like value, maybe look like because you paid 50,000 more, but maybe you might have what looks like, again, on paper, a bigger equity position. So you'd be okay, and you'd still be able to get maybe what the house is truly worth if you do need to sell it. So that's some great points, Carrie. Appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anybody else have anything they would got for sale or would like to buy? Bruce, you had what is this? Who owns a property? Oh, I think he's asking you a question, Amber. Young lady who owns property in Kansas City. So I don't know. I think that's something for you.
Let's see. Yes, I am, Bruce. You can reach out to me, or if you have a question that you want to ask here, by all means do so, but you can reach out to my email.
Okay, Mary's got a question here. I want to buy a 3-2 with the 2-car garage, roughly in a neighborhood I won't get assaulted in. Okay, Mary, you could unmute yourself if you'd like to tell us a little bit more about that.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just woke up, not gonna lie, so I don't really look at it. But anyway, so yeah, I don't have a house. I am a renter and I don't want to be a renter. And I know it's a crappy market to be buying, but I mean, I think mortgages kind of terrify me anyway, just because of all the paperwork and all of the fine print where you're like, your money doesn't go toward the principal until blah, 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 blah. And then you're 50,000 into it and still don't own anything. And I think I just want to be a cash buyer and just put my, as terrifying as that is also, that like I've got all my ducks in one basket or something, like that's the thing that everyone tells you not to do. But I feel like I kind of want to do that. And then whatever, and then I'll just have the cash on cash return if I, rent out my rooms and stuff. Like it's pure, well, not pure profit because of property taxes and utilities and stuff. But I mean, I don't know. Please, someone tell me I'm an idiot if that's a really bad idea. But that's what I was thinking. Because if I have a certain amount of cash and then I have like a brokerage fund, I could potentially liquidate. And then I found there's actually a contractor in our network that has a connection. Kurt, where's his business card? It's well, anyways, Kurt, and then he's got this property manager that I met at a meeting too. I don't know, he's not here today. I don't see his name. But anyways, he's got this connection with this lending company for home repairs where it's literally 0% for 12 months. So I'm like, even if I bought a cash house and then finance the repair part and then had it done within 12 months. I don't know. So just thoughts, but anyways, I've been looking in Overland and St. John and possibly Fenton, but I want to be within 30 minutes of my dad, and he lives next to Chesterfield Mall. I'm one of the main caretakers for my senior father. And it's really important to me to be near him. So that kind of helps determine my area circle. So is that enough information?
Sure. Do you want to leave any contact information, Mary?
Oh, yeah.
You'd like
Yeah,
anybody
of
to get a
course.
hold of you? If you don't mind putting it in the chat.
I'm going to put it in the chat.
Also
that's-
mention it too, if you don't mind.
Oh,
And Mary,
yes, because of the people.
Is there a price range that you're looking to stay within?
Well, I got 134 cash, and then I got another 40 cash, and then I got 60 in brokerage. So I don't know. I don't want to spend all that because I want to use it for the rehab. So I don't know what to say about it. I would love to keep it under 100,000 and then use the rest for the rehab. I would love to keep it under 80,000, but it's like, I don't want to expect that I'm dreaming, because my dream house had a 3-car garage and it was 59.9, but it was in a crappy area. Like it was in like Hanley Hills or something. And I don't know if that's okay or not. My real estate agent told me no. He said, don't live there. And I was like, but I don't know if he's being overly conservative because I'm a girl or what, you know, because I feel like every property I want, he tells me no. Don't live there, Mary, you know. So I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's him or if it's truly that bad. So my phone number is 314-707-5656. And my email is mary.gallifrey@gmail.com. That's MARY.GALOFRE@gmail.com. So.
Reach out to Mary. She's got her contact information in there. So thank you. Let's see here. Bruce, his mic's not working. Okay. So I guess you got Amber's, she gave her information, so you'll be able to get in touch with her. We got Carrie's there. So Carrie's got all the money we need today, so we're good there. And Amber's got a good deal. Mary's looking for a place. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share today? I think personally, I think it's one of the best times of year to get out there and find stuff, because all the taxes are coming due right now. I know I got a whole stack of them right here from the different counties that that we are in, and they're all, it's on everybody's mind. This is in what I consider one of the 2 best times in Missouri to look for properties, because that's when the non-oneers start coming out and opening their doors to see what's around, because people are getting their tax bills. The other time I think is good is around May, because everybody that's going to be coming up to the tax sale in Missouri in August start getting their notices in May, their final notice to pay their taxes before the end of the month. Otherwise, they have to pay the full amount and they can't make a partial amount. So I think May is a good time. That's when I usually get out. But right now is a really good time to look for properties with people that don't want them, and maybe look at selling at a discount, because the taxes are due and payable by the end of the year. Otherwise, you get a 10% penalty and interest tacked on there. And in some counties, it's 10% per month. It adds up quickly. I bought a lot of properties. In fact, we bought one, Laura, my wife and I, we bought one last year. Just a little, it's kind of an oddball piece of property, but I bought it because it's right where 2 highways come together, state highways. And we paid like $388 or something for that, buying it over the counter, like we kind of talked about, where it didn't have to go through redemption, but the county owned it. I just got my tax bill and it's like $3.80 a year. So somebody let this piece of property go for that much. And after it got 5 years behind, it was actually $380, which is what I paid for it. So that's the kind of deals you get. It's about 300 and I don't know, a little bit under 400 foot long along the highway. And it's about 78 foot actually deep. So it's kind of an oddball shaped piece of property, but the way I look at it is there's a lot of things we can do. I talked to some people that says, well, you should put a little shed on there and rent it out for deer hunting, which I think we just had, but I'm not a hunter, because there was a pond next door. And I thought, well, I don't know if that's a good idea because the neighbors might not like the new people hunting close to their land. So, but what I'm thinking is maybe it's a good place for a billboard or something like that, because the next highway, and one reason I even looked at this property is because the next highway down is where you turn to go to the Mennonites farmers market, where we go down and buy a lot of food and produce and stuff like that. And I've passed it up a couple of times, and it's 800 foot before the turnoff. And I'm thinking maybe I can work out a deal with them, and they might want to put a sign on my property, so I will know where to turn. And maybe I can work out a deal, bartering, going back to what thing I like to do, bartering to maybe get some free food. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But for $3.80, I can let it sit there. So that's my taxes right now. So a lot of opportunities though, but this time of year, my whole point was this time of year is a great time to talk to people that may not want their properties, or, maybe become non-wanters, because it's all fresh in their head right now. Besides the holidays coming up, they got taxes due. Anybody else got anything they want to buy, sell? Anybody working on anything they'd got a question with?
John, I wanted to ask a question.
Yeah, sure, Tiffany.
So I wanted to ask about the mailers we were talking about the last meeting that we mail out to the unwanters.
You talking about the letters? Yeah, I'll send those out to you. This is we'll be talking more about that on Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I was working on this morning too, a little bit. I think I mentioned the assignment contract, and that's I'm refining a few things, but yeah, that's for our group. Yeah, because we do have our challenge that just started the other day on our St. Louis challenge, nothing down challenge. So we have a small group of us that got together, and we're gonna get a property for no money out of pocket, no money of our own. So that's what we're working on. Yeah, Tiffany, I will definitely be giving that to you. So thank you.
Thanks, John.
So John, I'd also like to mention, because I've seen it and I'm interested, if someone doesn't want to put down the 10,000 for my property that I mentioned, I am willing to trade or barter. So if you have something else, by all means, give me a call, or I guess reach out via email. But I am open to other options. It doesn't have to be a cash purchase. So get creative with your offer and we can talk.
In trade or barter, or are you looking for, I've traded cars and trucks and labor and all kinds of stuff, but is there something specific? Or are you just kind of open to see what might be available?
I'm open. I don't want to limit myself. So I'll just leave it at that to see what options people can bring. I saw like an article, it was a few months back, about a lady who basically got her first house basically by trading up. So she traded from one thing to another, and then next thing you know, she traded for a house. So I'm interested to see what options people have that they would like to trade for this purchase.
Reading it yet, but it's where a guy, this goes back probably 20 something years, but he traded, and the whole book is how he traded a paper clip for a house. And the way it worked is he got on eBay and started trading for stuff and worked up to it. And eventually that paper clip, it was like a novelty, big old thing. And he traded for one thing, and the whole story just tells about what he traded to go up and up and up until he finally got a house. And I haven't started reading it yet, but I've got it sitting right over here. On my table here. I'm going to start reading it. I'll let you know as it comes along, but that's very interesting. I think a lot of people, I think a lot more people could utilize bartering than they do. I know I personally traded my old work truck that I had a few years back for a house up in Hannibal, Missouri. And then I sold that to the neighbor, and he's still making a small monthly payment to us on that. And that was a truck I was just about ready to give away or just get rid of, because it was, again, like kind of like Laurel said, it had more, it needed more repairs than it was worth. And I found a guy that said, I'll trade you this property. It had 5 years of back taxes, almost 4.5 years, and all kinds of stuff. He said, I'll trade you this house for just about anything. I said, well, I got a truck. And I traded this sight unseen, which I don't always do, but I knew, just knowing what I know about properties, even without going up and taking a look at it, but even what I know about stuff, I knew I could get my money back. And if nothing else, finance it to somebody else who would pay the back taxes. And what we ended up doing is I sold that to the neighbor next door, and he was the one discouraging everybody from buying it, which was the story I found out. But he paid all the back taxes. He paid the violations with the city. He did all that. I didn't have to do anything other than just do some paperwork. So there's so many possibilities on this kind of stuff. And it's really just making it work for, find out what their problem is or whatever it is, and just solving it. It is that simple.
Yeah, I want to say the story that I heard about was very similar to your book. So I guess I'll just say I'm sure she brought it into the 21st century, but I mean, that's what it was. She, I think, traded a earring or something like that and traded her way up to a house. I mean, we can all say it may not be the nicest of houses, but guess what? She bought her house for no cash. So trading and bartering are great options, especially in today's market. So you just never know what somebody may be willing to part with and trade. So
yeah, I think a lot of people just don't utilize it as much as they could. I mean, because that's just something, that's another exit strategy for a lot of things too. And the deals are out there. Even I know what we went through before a few years ago. We were talking, just earlier about maybe we won't have quite the foreclosures, but people still have major life situations and things happen. They still get divorced. They still have deaths. They still have to move in other parts of the country. They might just need somebody to take over their payments. There's a lot of good strategies to have on that. I know when we did have a lot of foreclosures and there were, it flooded the market or whatever, there was ways that we took over payments and then got other people to make the payments, because a lot of us work on payments only. It's one of the things with the interest rates, but there's a lot of lower interest rates right now, that will be locked in probably for years to come if people don't, get rid of their mortgage or sell their house. And there's a lot of opportunities for us coming up to do that. So barter, keep in mind, bartering, everywhere you look, people have expertise in every area. I've had people offer me all kinds of stuff, boats, box trucks, other commercial properties and stuff, even for my little lots that I buy over the counter. I mean, there's just, it's really endless what you can do with those things. But get other people to work on your houses. I got a free lake house once a few years ago, and I had somebody else that was buying a property from me a little ways away, and she was making payments, but she went down, her and her partner, and they fixed up the house and made it to where I could sell it. And all I did is I forgave the mortgage, because it worked out being such a good deal for me back on what the house they were buying from us. And then I sold it. I only made 3 trips down to that house from the time I did a little bit of paperwork from somebody given it to me. And then I went down once to take a look at it, take pictures. I went down there once to see what, and show the person I was just telling you about doing the bartering with, trading for her to fix it and work it up. Then I went down there one other time to sell it to the new buyer. I mean, I had people go down there. They even put the lockbox on there. I didn't even do that. And I had people go down there and look at it. So, and even contractors, it's just so many things you can do that we can do nowadays, like sitting right here, and we don't even have to get in the car and drive 2 hours each way anymore. So barter your way to success. That's a whole book in itself.
Where do I find the recordings of this meeting?
They're in the members section on STLREIA, and they're always on YouTube. But if you're a member, I believe, Mary, just go in the member section on STLREIA.com, and they're all in there.
I didn't even know that was a thing. Do you need like a passcode or something fancy?
If you're a member, you need to set up your account. Yeah, I think it's self-explanatory. If not, just send a note to the admin there and they'll fix you up.
Okay.
Yep, pretty easy to do. There's a lot of good resources on STLREIA.com too. I mean, there's a lot of things that we get. The nice thing about our group is we are a nonprofit, and we are more about education than trying to sell you programs and selling you stuff. I mean, you really do get a lot for your money, which is still, which I'm amazed at, only $75 for two people at the same address per year. I don't know anything you can get for a dime a day, because that's about what it comes up to be. So that's pretty good. One or two recordings, you can get enough information like what we're talking about today to pretty much pay for the whole year.
Thank you. And you also mentioned about the tax sale. What, when's that, or what's going on with that tax? Is that the sheriff's tax sale of like the pre-LRA properties?
They're all different. The tax sales in Missouri are in August, every year. You know, the taxes are all due right now. That's kind of what I mentioned. I think this is a good time of year to look for properties, because it's not with tax sale with the government, but it's with people, because their taxes are due right now. So I just think it's a good time. I think one of the two best times in Missouri myself, although there's never a bad time, because you never know when because, you know, life happens to all of us, and you never know what's going to happen tomorrow as opposed to today. I mean, we all do have things happen. And one of the things I noticed just when I was a mortgage broker, this is when it opened my eyes to a lot of things, but you know, we do 30-year mortgages, but very, very few people go 30 years like our parents or grandparents used to do, because we all have a major life change about every 5 to 7 years. That seems to be what it is. And I think, Mary, you alluded to the fact that, you know, a lot of the money goes towards interest the first few years. One of the things I used to do is I used to show people how you could take your 30-year mortgage, and all you have to do is just go to the very end to get your amortization schedule, go to the end and just take the principal amount and add that to your first payment, and then go back and forth and then add the second one, the third one, going backwards. And by the end of your 15 years, you'll pay exactly half interest and half principal, no matter what your interest rate is, and it'll be paid off in 15 years. That's a good strategy. The problem is, it's the same problem we all have with the 30-year mortgage, is we all have a major life change, and you probably aren't going to pay your house off in 30 years like our parents and grandparents did. Probably not. You may be one of the few, but today we have more exceptions than we used to have, because things do happen to, you know, in our lives and to us and with us. So that's just
and it's not just the events that happen in our life. I mean, it is a complete strategy, house hacking, to move around, right? And so, I mean, if you have a property now, you're thinking about buying a rental property, you're actually sitting in your rental property right now. Why don't you rent out your current property, your primary, and maybe upgrade to something else for yourself, and then make your current property a rental? All right. A lot of people are just saying to themselves, let me go out and buy a rental property. You may already be sitting on your rental property.
That's a great point, Amber. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. They think they need to sell stuff and need cash now. But my experience is you're not always better having the cash now, because then a lot of times there's tax consequences and things like that, where you've already got your house. Even I've seen even people with FHA loans and stuff, you know, you have to live there to begin with, but you can turn that into a great income property in just a few years. And, you know, you might have only put 3% down or whatever the situation is with that. So, I mean, there's a lot of good strategies you have now. And yeah, you probably are already sitting in your property, your first income property.
So how are you finding these buyers that don't want to pay their taxes? I mean, John, I know you're so gifted and have so much experience on this stuff. You make it sound so easy, but it's like, you know, I mean, how would like an everyday person like find somebody who didn't want to pay their taxes? I mean, you know what I mean?
You can go look at on the website. Some websites have them on there where they're easy to find, and some don't. But St. Louis County and St. Charles County in particular, you have to sift through there, but they're on there. They're all there out there. Everything is public knowledge. Or you could put an ad out there. I used to run ads too, like on Craigslist. Hey, if you're behind in your taxes, we buy houses, cash or take over payments. Be that simple. You'd be surprised. You know, we have special programs for those that may need help with their taxes. You know, let people contact you. It's just like fishing. Put your line in the water. You don't know who's going to bite. You just never know. But if you don't have your line in the water, the fish aren't going to know you're there.
Right. And then what's this no money challenge? Was that a public challenge for our group, or is that just you and your friends, or?
That's a small group that we have together. We'll be announcing more of that as time comes along. But yeah, we had a little challenge we're running right now.
So we are welcome to, like, so you didn't really answer the question. Is that
No,
public?
this
or
is
not, or-
this is a closed group, Mary. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a closed group for us. I put it out there, and you had to apply, and then we're working with a small group of people that are doing that. But we'll bring out announcements more on that as time goes on.
Okay.
Yeah, this is there's all kinds of deals out there for no money. You just got to find somebody. Basically what it is, Mary, it's very simple. You just find a non-wanter, somebody that doesn't want their property for whatever reason that would what that would be, and then solve their problem. That's all there is really to real estate, is finding a problem and solving it. And if you keep those things in mind, that's all there is. There's never a real estate problem. It's always a people problem. There's always a circumstance.
Well, for instance, I have a friend who has a house in Manchester, and she is disabled and aging, and she came to me because she thought I could help her. And I of course have very limited real estate knowledge. I mean, I'm learning, but she basically has somebody renting up the upper level. And her house needs a lot of repairs, and she can't afford the repairs. She owns the house free and clear, which is rare. She says it's worth $260,000, but with all the repairs, probably not. She may be thinking if it were in full repair or whatever, but she's working with a realtor to potentially sell it. But this woman has no income other than rent. She has no job. She's disabled mentally. And so I basically told her she should not get rid of her house, because that's basically the best money-making asset she has. But of course, she should talk to other people who know more than me. But, I was thinking that rental income could support her for the rest of her life if she did it right. Maximizing that, and somehow getting some way to pay for the repairs without having to, like, whether that's a HELOC or other creative things that I know nothing about yet. But I mean, like, so in that situation, I smelled like that if I could help solve her problem, I could somehow, ultimately as a friend, I just wanted to care about, like how to help her. But I mean, I'm saying in a future situation, if it was purely business, like how would you have solved that problem?
You said she's got a renter in there right now?
Yeah, it's actually a family member, and we looked up the rules for the city of Manchester, for unrelated persons rule, which limits unless you apply to be a boarding house, because, I had just gotten off the co-living, not the master class, but with Sam Wiegert off Facebook ads and things like that. He was on Bigger Pockets. He does co-living challenge. A lot of people may have heard of him, but he teaches you how to turn your, it's like house hacking on steroids. Basically, it's like he ends up getting like 7 to 10 bedrooms out of a single family. Now that's an extreme case, but I'm just saying, like, the concept of maximizing your square footage for rental income, right? And like making each room like it's its own apartment. But anyways, you talk about creative problem solving, and I just knew that there was some way to solve her problem. And you're helping someone who's in need, who can't afford to do the repairs. She owns her home. She doesn't owe anything on it, but it's got all these things that need work in order for her to be able to get it up to occupancy code. And also, she can only have so many people unless she applies to get a boarding permit, to have more renters up there rather than just a relative. Does that make sense? Like with the unrelated persons rule for the city of Manchester?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are specific to different municipalities. This may be a deal where you just look at maybe like we kind of talked about before, like maybe with Amber's house, like maybe selling that to somebody that's a contractor or somebody that knows more about that and is willing to do that. If she doesn't have the money, she either needs a partner or she needs to sell it to somebody that doesn't have the knowledge and or the money to fix it, it sounds like. I personally don't like to deal with all the municipality just specifics because everyone's different and you get into a lot of weeds that are, I've done all that. In the meantime, she has the asset already. If she doesn't need the lump sum, then that might be the way to do it because, you're not going to get retail amount and from a realtor unless your house is pristine anyway. You're going to end up having concessions and things going to happen. If you have even if they would list a house that's not quite retail ready, they may have another agent that's a buyer's agent. They're going to come through and then they will get an inspection or whatever, and they're going to say, oh, because the roof of this, because of this, and you're going to go back and forth anyway. You're not going to get the whatever you said, the 260 or whatever.
Yeah, I think she's kind of dreaming with that. I don't.
But that's one way you could do it. Just find
Like
somebody
the air
else.
conditioner needs replacing and
Right.
well, I guess
Yeah.
like I was thinking about like her long-term, like, you know what I mean? Like this woman's income is literally dependent on this house. So I was thinking like as a real estate, like even as a friend, thinking to myself, even if she sells it and then uses the cash to go buy another property, like if she could find a duplex or something else, like it's still not going to be enough rental income for her to live on. You know what I mean? So it's like, because the bigger the house, the more the rental income.
Well, unless she's familiar with being a landlord too, rental income is a whole different story, especially if you're talking family members and friends. Number one rule I put out there is don't do business with friends and family.
Right.
Number one, they're the first ones that won't pay you. And there's just things that happen, I personally, and I haven't done this for years, I don't own anything my company does. I just work for the company. That way you never have to make a decision on there's just things that go along with that. It's a little bit deeper than that, but that's something she could look at doing an amount. Somebody giving her some money down that might give her enough to find a place to live and start started something new, a new place for her, but then get income, not a rental income, but get somebody that's going to buy the place from you and fix it up and deal with the city and all that stuff. Let them do it. You just want somebody to buy it and pay you. She'll still get the tax benefits because she's the owner. Plus she still owns the property until it's satisfied and she deeds it over to them. I mean, that's the way I like to do things nowadays because of all those reasons. It just, there's a lot of different options, but if she don't have the money to fix it up and she can't live there or whatever the case, will not or cannot, that's just an option she may look at doing. And I personally like selling the stuff like that because of all those reasons. Yeah, Demetrius said he's a contractor. I know he said he would he'd be happy to talk to you about some options you have. I know Demetrius has a lot of good options. Demetrius, are you where you can unmute yourself maybe and
So
talk
she needs a place to live. She doesn't have another place to live.
Okay, well, that's another, that would be another concern. That's something you have to take into consideration there. But
yeah, I'm here, John.
Sure. Would you like to talk a little bit to Mary about that?
Sure. Yeah. For me, it really just be getting to the bottom line on what it is that she wants. To me, it sounds unclear on whether she wants or if she's going to stay in the house or if she's going to go to another house. But things can be structured around what she wants. And I'm sure just working with you or getting with you and having a conversation with her, there's a way to create a win-win-win around that property. So, I'd be interested in having a conversation with you about it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good.
Okay. Well, I put my number in the chat if you want to reach out. And yeah, I'm sure we'd be able to figure something out. We got us two and the whole network here. So, yep.
Yeah, I figured like her needs were beyond my intelligence level with real estate. Like I know there's a solution for her and I just don't have the knowledge base to know how exactly to best do that. So
Okay.
I think what she was wanting to do is like she keeps her options open because she doesn't know what the best option is. You know what I mean? Like whether to sell or whether to stay or whether to fix it, whether to rent it. Like she doesn't know. So that's why she was looking at me to help her because I know some things, but I don't know enough. But anyway, okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, reach out and we can get to the bottom of that. That's what I got from the conversation was that's kind of up in the air. But once we have the conversation and kind of solidify what worked out best for her and, you know, what worked out best for you, and we can see where the apples fall and create something from that.
Okay.
All right.
And Mary, did you say that she had some disabilities?
She does. She had a stroke. And so her ability she had asked me to come on as either not a property manager, because I know I don't want to get into that, but she wanted to take me on as kind of like a, not a coach, what's the word? Like someone to help get her up and running as a rental property, you know, like because I know contractors through here. I know property managers through here. I know people who know more than me about how to do the whole, you know, house hacking situation right, so she can maximize her income so that she can have an income. Like she has no income, like, you know, and she's older and she's my friend, and you know, her life's going to suck if she doesn't have any income and nowhere to live. I mean, like her family's not really helping her, you know what I mean? It's like I feel like I could do something to help her, and so it's just like, anyway, I'm sure the brilliance of the experience in this community could figure out something to, you know, get her daughter out of there and it's like 3 bedrooms upstairs, you know, so it's like I thought about getting an extra bathroom up there so she could have more rent, you know, all those types of things. So I'm kind of like I don't know, like not even a project manager, but she just wanted a consultant, if you will. I don't know what else to say it, you know, someone to help her figure it out because she doesn't know.
And as far as if she would move from that residence to another place, would she be okay with some type of apartment living where her expenses would be quite a bit lower?
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I can maybe help you with that as far as finding a place if she would choose to sell her house, maybe helping her find a place to live.
Right. Yeah. I mean, something that is obviously lower than whatever she'd be getting from rental income, you know, so that she'd have, you know, a profit margin in order to be able to, you know, eat and all that. I mean, you know,
yeah, they do have facilities where they only pay maybe a third of their income. So if she's on disability income or whatever, yeah, it's pretty minimal, the amount that she would have to pay out of her income. And if she would gain income from her, or not income, but a profit from her home, that could just be put aside and that would count toward her income.
It wouldn't count toward her income?
No, not the last I checked with some places that do that.
Yeah, I don't even think she gets official disability checks. I think she just is mentally, like, I don't even think she gets that. So like maybe she should apply for it or something.
Right. Well, I can help you maybe with that, give you some options to check into.
How would I get a hold of you?
I'll put it in the chat. It's Jeannie Whalen, WHALEN, 314-308-8894.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to say today? A lot of good things going around. A lot of people, a lot of activity. People are doing some stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on. I know a lot of people are worried about their shopping and stuff, I guess, today, trying to save their money. But I think it's a good day to make some money myself. Yeah, and I'd like to see all you guys here too. That says a lot about you. I appreciate y'all. Anybody else have anything they want to say? If not, I guess we could go ahead and call it a day. We're coming up on noon here in a little while. I'll get the rendition done. As soon as I do, I'll get the recording up. I always say by midnight tonight. That's when I have it. I don't always know when they get it on the website because I don't have control over that, but I do have control over what I do. So before I go to bed tonight, I will have the recording down. If anybody needs anything, always feel free to reach out. We will meet next Friday, and some of us will be meeting Wednesday on our group. So I'll send more information out about that. Anybody have anything they would like to say before we say goodbye today? I appreciate everybody's everybody's input. We've got well, Carrie's got some money before the rates go back up. We've got Amber's got a good wholesale deal. That's a great opportunity for somebody. Mary's got a friend that needs that could use some a little bit of assistance there, and also she's looking for a place. It's in a neighborhood where she won't get assaulted, I think is how she put that. So we don't want that to happen. We want to make sure everybody lives in a good, safe place. Anything else? Anybody else?
Yeah.
Share?
Yeah, I do. So there's a lot of members in this group that have an amazing wealth of knowledge and contacts and all that stuff. But I feel like the only way to talk to anybody in this group is if you directly meet them at a meeting, and then get their contact information at a meeting, and not everybody comes to the meetings and Is there like a members area with contact information, like on the website or something?
No, that's always private. The best thing, like you just said, Mary, the best thing to do is show up in person and get the contact information, meet them, exchange cards. And the other thing, one of the things we say right here is give out the information you would like other people to have, because I'm not going to give out your business card. And I don't expect anybody else to, but anything you would like to share, put it in the chat and mention it. And that's the best way to get in touch with people. But yeah, the in-person is on location is always good. That's not everybody shows up. So right here, every Friday at 11, this is your best opportunity to exchange information, find out what people are doing, and get their contact information. Exactly what we're doing right here.
Okay.
So, all right. Well, I thank everybody. Good seeing y'all. And we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
You too.